Coming up on the panel, our experts will talk about Kenny Pickett and if they think there's upside for the one quarterback that was taken in the first round of the draft. Diego Maradona's Hand of God jersey is breaking records. And Giannis may be the best player in hoops and might be the best investment in the hobby. That's next. And welcome to the latest edition of the panel, where we discuss what's hot, what's not, and the latest trends in the memorabilia market space with our panel of experts: David Kohler, the president of SCP Auctions; Jesse Craig, director of business development, PWCC Marketplace; and Nick Sapero, who's the vice president of acquisitions and consignments at Collectable. I'm Bram Weinstein. Topic one: they told us from the fall during the college football season that this was not a robust draft class for quarterbacks. If you watch this show, you know that's where the money is in the hobby. And as it turned out, during the NFL draft, there was only one taken in the first round, not until pick 20. And the next ones fell into the second, third, and in some cases, fourth and fifth rounds with big-time prospects. So it's turned out to be a very different year. But I want to focus in on the one who did go in the first round and went to an age-old franchise. The new Ben Roethlisberger is Big Ken. Kenny Pickett, David. Is there any juice on your end with Kenny Pickett entering the memorabilia market space?
No, I mean, obviously not really. I mean, he's a local kid, and it's a feel-good story. And right there in the Pittsburgh area, got picked at number 20, so that's cool. But the odds are against him if this is going to work out the next few years. But who knows? I guess there was a kid back in '83 named Dan Marino that worked out from that area. The Steelers didn't get him. Obviously, the Dolphins did. And the rest is history. But, I wish him luck. The speed of the game is a lot faster at this level. But, hopefully we're talking about him next year. And it's a good story. We'll find out.
Yeah, may not play very much. Mitchell Trubisky, former second overall pick, was signed in free agency by the Steelers, so it's likely that he doesn't even start this year. What about you, Jesse? The one quarterback in the first round taken does go to a place that needed a new young quarterback. What do you make of Kenny Pickett?
Yeah, Big Kenny Pickett, or other people call him Little Hand Kenny. Look, it's a feel-good story. He's got a building that Pitt actually shares with the Steelers, so everything's going to be fairly familiar and comfortable for him, which I think will obviously help as a rookie. With Mitchell coming in, we'll see if they give the kid a shot to start right away or sit for a year or a few games. But the situation for a rookie like that probably couldn't be any better. It's basically the perfect scenario for a rookie quarterback to stay in his hometown, stay where he's familiar, and really be able to learn around the people that he's comfortable with. So, he's got a really good shot to be a starting NFL quarterback his rookie season, but we'll see how it all shakes out.
All right, Nick, you always tell us quarterback. Here's the one that went in the first round. You buying into Kenny Pickett?
I am. I just think he's coming into a good situation. He's coming into a familiar, I guess, area, in Pittsburgh. He's not leaving. I think the crowd is going to be behind him. And I really don't see Mitchell Trubisky really starting. Maybe he starts 3 games and they kind of take over. I just don't really see Mitchell Trubisky winning games for them. But I think it's great to point out that the other quarterbacks also have a shot, just because they were drafted late in later rounds. I think Desmond Ridder has a shot for the Falcons.
Yeah.
Mariota is a starter over there, and even Tennessee. I mean, Tannehill is Tannehill really the quarterback of the future over there. So that's I think Malik could potentially have a shot over there as well.
And Malik Willis came into the draft. Many believed he was the best prospect. Fell far down into the draft, farther than I think anyone really imagined. So we'll see. Somebody likely emerges from here. We'll see. All right, let's get back into the hobby here. Jesse, let me start with you on Diego Maradona's Hand of God jersey, which is now reportedly going to sell for over $6 million, which would break a record by a Babe Ruth jersey worn back during his playing days. Diego Maradona setting marks here, the soccer world in the memorabilia market space. What do you make of what's happening here?
Well, I mean, look, soccer is the most popular sport in the world. So this makes sense. Maradona is one of the greatest soccer players of all time. He's maybe not as well known outside of the soccer community as a Pele or a Messi or a Ronaldo, but he is likely one of the top 4 greatest soccer players of all time, from an amazing jersey, an amazing moment. And this is a prime example of an international piece that should bring a record number. And I wouldn't be surprised if it hit 10 million. I mean, it's a huge piece. This should do a huge premium. with, you know, a high quality auction house. So I'm really excited to see what it finishes at.
All right, Nick, what do you think here? Diego Maradona's Hand of God jersey breaking records.
Yeah, I don't think soccer with the memorabilia front has ever gotten, you know, on the global stage. I mean, very few auction houses would ever offer anything soccer related, so it's really great to see, and it makes sense that, you know, from a global perspective, that there is investability there. So, you know, I think it's great for our hobby. The more, you know, the more overseas markets that get involved in our market, it could only help.
All right, David, what do you think? Diego Maradona breaking records. This is a new one.
I mean, it's fantastic. Obviously, here's a huge soccer relic, an iconic player from the game. Again, this is going to be another sale that's going to be over 5 million, well, over 6 million actually, or more. Auction ends in the next couple of days. So obviously we'll be paying attention to that. And, you know, this raises, you know, the tides, right? Raises all seas. It's like, it's incredible that this is happening. And again, people are going to start thinking when they look at this prices realized and what it's sold for a record. Okay, so then what are rare and desirable, you know, baseball flannels worth, rare and desirable vintage basketball jerseys, photo matched, obviously football, and a lot of other game worn jerseys, some of the things we've been talking about for months. It's going to raise the bar on all these things, as it should. So we're very excited to watch this, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out as we go into the next year or two with all these other rare and desirable, iconic game-worn items.
One more soccer topic before we move on that I just kind of want to whip around and get everybody's thoughts on. And it's in the news right now that Chelsea, one of the English Premier League teams, is being sold, and it's appearing as if it's going to have an American influence. There's been a lot of American ownership that's gone into the EPL over time, and it's a Dodgers minority owner that is likely to win the bid to have Chelsea. Does that ring for anything for you, Jesse? Does that matter for you if American influence is getting into big brands in soccer overseas?
I think it helps for the domestic soccer market here. Soccer's actually made a pretty good push with the MLS and a lot of the important players playing in the States. So it's big for the domestic market, that's for sure. You know, we got the World Cup here in 2026, so I see nothing but positive regarding that.
Okay, Nick, what do you think here? Does this stuff matter when American ownership takes over big brands in Europe?
Yeah, I definitely think it matters. It creates more domestic partnership here within the States, so it gets a lot more exposure, you know, through the media. Now ESPN has a bunch of rights with, like, the Bundesliga, for instance, and MLS is continuing to spike in interest. So I think this could only help, especially with the Premier League and their partnerships. I think going forward, I think there'll be a lot more interest in Premier League.
David, you talked about rising tides here with the Maradona jersey. What do you make of more American ownership with big brands in European soccer?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Nick's just said. I mean, this is going to have a lot more exposure in the U.S. I'm sure it's going to work its way through the television channels, ESPN, you know, with their deal and all that. So, yeah, I mean, it's great for the game of soccer, and certainly that will play its way into the collectible market and the soccer, you know, memorabilia.
Let's get back into the NBA playoffs here for topic 3. At the time of this taping, we're through one game of the Bucks and the Celtics. Giannis was unbelievable in the Garden in game 1. And after just a mild scare in the first couple of games, the defending champs have seemed to got the Death Star becoming operational again. They've looked great so far against Chicago and then the early stretches of this Celtics series. So, Nick, let me start with you. Giannis may be the best player in the NBA. He's an MVP. He's a champion already. They're streaking towards getting back to the finals again. What do you make of him in the memorabilia market space?
I mean, I absolutely love him. I mean, I think a lot of his market was priced in for that last championship when he did win. So, you know, that's why you don't really see huge spikes in, you know, in Giannis prices, because they are quite high. But I think with his continued success and him always contending for an MVP and potentially always contending, you know, at least for an Eastern Conference title, I really think that, you know, his interest is, I think I'd be a fool not to say that he's probably the best investment to make right now.
Okay, David, I'll get you to weigh in here as well. Not only on Giannis, but the Splash Brothers and specifically Steph Curry that seem to be streaking towards reclaiming their greatness in the NBA as we are in the semifinal round, and they're up 1-0 at the time of this taping in their series against the Grizzlies and appear to be a favorite to get back to the finals. What are your thoughts on Giannis and Steph for the memorabilia market spaces we move through the NBA playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, this is great for them. I mean, there's enough Giannis jerseys out there that have been photo matched and game used. I mean, obviously there'll be more that'll come out in the future. People want these things; they're very interested in it, and it's great. Same thing with Steph Curry. You know, we've seen enough of those jerseys kind of float around that are, you know, all authenticated, and you know, whether it's through MyGray, NBA auctions.com, and so on, and the demand's there. Those prices are increasing, and certainly, you know, if the Warriors get to the finals, Steph Curry does this thing, it increases the value, the exposure, and it's great for the market. I mean, a lot of these, you know, top 10 guys, Giannis is, I mean, he is an unbelievable player, and I'm a big fan of his.
He's like a mix of Magic Johnson and LeBron James, all in one player. He's unbelievable. All right, Jesse, what do you think here as the stars are kind of rising up here through the NBA playoffs?
Yeah, I think Giannis just proved that he is the best player in basketball. You know, Tatum might have been the hottest player in basketball up until game one of their series. But now Giannis, you know, Batman without his Robin. I mean, Middleton didn't even play, and the Bucks kind of made the Celtics look like an average team. So I think that proves Giannis's dominance and that he is the best player in basketball. Magic Johnson, you know, my favorite player, alluded to it, so I'm going to stick with what Magic said and agree that Giannis is the best player in basketball. But the series that I'm actually the most excited about is this Warriors Grizzlies series. I mean, what a fantastic game. You've got young talent in John Morant. You've got the best shooter in basketball in Steph Curry. And if that thing can go 7 games, I would love for it to go 7 games because I want to see as much of that series as I can. But the Suns are no slouch either. I mean, they, you know, Luka dropped 45 and the Suns still won by double digits basically. So the Suns Warriors is likely going to be the Western Conference Finals. And I think it's going to be a tough matchup. The Suns are just a really, really good basketball team.
Yeah, we will have the conversation of what it means for CP3 or Devin Booker if they were to get over the hump and actually win in a couple of weeks if they get there. All right, final word time. We're talking about some current greats. We could talk about one of the ex-greats. David, we'll start with you. You got a Kobe rookie jersey up for auction. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we're thrilled to announce that Kobe Bryant's rookie uniform has been uncovered. It is photo matched to multiple games within the season and his first playoff games, which actually was 25 years ago. This thing is incredible, and we have high hopes for this. This could definitely set a record in the basketball market, which we know is 3.6 million for another Kobe rookie jersey. This one it just checks all the boxes. Playoffs. It's been photo matched by all 3 of the foremost authentication firms, MyGray, Resolution, Photo Match, of course, and also Sports Investors. And it's just an amazing piece to hold. Think about Kobe Bryant is the 4th all-time scorer in the playoffs. And this is really the genesis of him starting his amazing career, 20 years with the Lakers, winning 5 championships. This is the jersey. And we really feel that this thing could set a record, and just out the gate, there is so much interest already, and we're looking forward to this opening up on May 18th through June 4th in our upcoming SCP auction.
All right, Jesse, what do you got? Final word.
I happened to be in LA and got a little sneak peek there with David to see the jersey, and it is unbelievably impressive. So a Kobe rookie jersey photo matched to playoff games. We've never had that before in our market, so I expect it to break a record. Super excited for David and SCP to have that jersey. For us as PWCC, we actually have a very unique item coming to auction as well that launches on Thursday. It is Brady's only 1-of-1 rookie in a Patriots uniform. So it is his Fleer Showcase Masterpiece 101 that was graded in 2004 by Beckett. That will be going to auction starting Thursday, ending on the 21st. It's basically Brady's Superfractor. So, you know, the sky's the limit for the card. Should definitely reach 7 figures, and we're really excited to see where it ends.
Okay, Nick, final word. What do you got this week?
Well, absolute wows on both ends for Jesse and David. On the collectible front, it's hockey playoff season, so I don't think we've really touched on hockey playoffs, but we are launching, I believe on Thursday, we're launching an Alexander Ovechkin, the Cup rookie card in a 9.5, which is, I believe it's the only 4-color patch. It's probably arguably one of the best modern hockey cards in existence, and we're very excited to offer it. The sky's the limit on Ovechkin. I mean, he could potentially pass Gretzky's record, which was thought of as being untouchable. So it's really great to see that.
I'll be in touch with you. Big Caps.
There it is. Did anybody see that
Yeah.
piece that ESPN did on the hockey teeth? That was great. Did you guys see that?
No.
Oh, it was fantastic.
I'll be in touch, Nick. A big OVP1 fan over here. I'll be in touch. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of the panel. For David Kohler, Jesse Craig, and Nick Sapero, I'm Bram Weinstein. We'll talk to you next time.